Disney's Animal Kingdom is one of their most immersive parks, but is every ride a big adventure, or should some of them be left in extinction? Let's find out, shall we? So one of the things, if you go to this park, you'd be silly to not see the animals, right? It is not just about the rides. The ride lineup is smaller. Definitely that is not the focus of this park. There is all the animals. And one of the kind of ways to combine the two is the Kilimanjaro Safari. Now, as you'd expect, this is you getting on these kind of bus truck things, and they take you for a drive through the wilderness and you see various animals. It is a great attraction, but it does have one flaw, and that is that, I mean, it's unavoidable. It is real life, it's nature. You are basically going to see the animals if you go on it first thing or last thing, because that is when they're out and getting fed. In the middle of the day, yeah, you're going to see some stuff for sure, but you know, a lot of them are sleeping or chilling out or whatever. So just bear that in mind if you're going to do this attraction. Try and hit it up first or later on in the day. But I think it's a great way to kind of see those animals and get around, so I'm going to start and keep it. And they've got a massive roller coaster in this park as well, which is another one that I am a huge fan of, and that is Expedition Everest. Now, I mean, it is this big sort of mountain that you can see from across the park, and it is ridiculously well themed. I mean, you know, again, you'd expect this, it's Disney, but the whole queue line, the area, is just fantastic. You get on the ride, you go up the lift hill, and then of course you've got that section with the broken track, so you go flying along, the track is broken in front of you, oh no, what am I going to do? And then it goes backwards and you go through the building and stuff, and then it switches and you go forwards again. Decent drop. The big frustration that everyone has with this is that when it was first constructed, there was this gigantic Yeti in there, animatronic. Unfortunately, I don't think they got the maths right, and it didn't work. Basically, I think it's too big, or something along those lines. They just can't get the damn thing to work. So they've done many renovations to this ride, and every time somebody's like, oh, bring back the Yeti, they've not managed to do that. So at the moment, the Yeti is in there, but it doesn't move. And so to get around that, they have a strobe effect to make it look like it's moving as you're getting close to it, which is kind of annoying. So I've never experienced the full thing because I didn't see it when it did work in the early years. Nonetheless, it is a fantastic coaster, and it's another one that I'm going to keep. So one of the things with Florida is that it can get stinking hot. Now it can also get ridiculously wet because they love a storm in the summer. And I've experienced many of those, but nonetheless, if it is one of those warmer days and you want to cool off, they do have the River Rapids, Cali River Rapids I think it's called, and it is great fun. It's one of those ones where there's a high chance you're going to get wet. I know some of these rapids you come off and you're like, I'm still dry, and sometimes that's, in the UK that's probably what you want. In Florida, you probably want to get wet and cool off. This has got the kind of guns on the pathway so people can shoot you with water and stuff. I've only done it a couple of times, but I did enjoy it. So I think it's in the right climate for these kind of rides, and that's another one I'm going to keep. So when I started writing this list, I did it before this next ride got removed, which is ironic because that was kind of what I was going to tell them to do anyway. Not that they listened to me, that would be quite funny. But it's a bug's life. It's tough to be a bug, it's a bug's life. The bug thing, it was such a weird thing to have. If you've seen my vlog when I was over there, it just didn't make any sense. Like, it was too boring for the adults and too scary for the kids. So I don't know what it was aimed at. Like, it was obviously intended for kids. I don't think it worked very well. And as I say, I was going to say scrap it, but they beat me to it. They have already closed it. So happy days. I'm just curious what it's going to get replaced with. So you can't think of Animal Kingdom without thinking of this next attraction, or this next area at least, and that is the Pandora section with the kind of suspended rocks and all that. Unbelievable. Just so beautiful, so immersive. And of course the headline attraction in there is Avatar Flight of Passage. Now this is an interesting one because I've been lazy and paid to go on this ride because, again, as I've said in other videos, I can't be arsed standing in a queue for an hour, 2 hours long. Just certainly not in the stinking heat of Florida. It just doesn't sound like fun to me. So the problem with that is that when you pay to skip the line, you also skip a lot of the queue line. And from what I've seen, the queue line is highly immersive. Super, super detailed. They've got the lab and all that kind of stuff. I've not seen it firsthand. It'd be kind of nice if the fast lane walked past it sort of thing, so you still get that. But it just goes some shortcut. In any case, you get into this attraction, there's kind of like a pre-show where they screen you and all that sort of stuff. And then you go in and you get onto these. Now, here's a weird thing, because conceptually this is just a different style of flying theatre, right? You're not sitting in the usual kind of bucket seats in the kind of gondola that swings out. You are sitting on these almost like motorbike style things that you're sitting on, and that's supposed to be you kind of riding this animal. And there's some motion on that kind of simulates the breathing of the animal and stuff. But effectively, it's still a flying theatre, right? If you don't look straight ahead and you look to the side, you see this bank of seats. You look up, you look down, same again. I enjoy this. I really enjoy this. My missus enjoys this. She doesn't like a flying theatre, which I find very strange. But I think for this one, because you're sitting on these bike style things and there's a floor, yes, you're up high, but you can't see that. Typical flying theatre, your feet are dangling, you look down, ah! So maybe that's the difference. So if you are scared of heights, this is probably okay for you, where a flying theatre might not be. It is spectacular, really, really good. Last time I went on it, the 3D was a little bit out of sync. Certainly the glasses I was wearing didn't quite line up properly, which is a little annoying. But yeah, listen, you can't not keep this attraction. It is stunning. And then connected to that, in the same area, is the Navi River Journey. Now, again, another one that can get a ridiculous queue. And it's just a boat ride, effectively, through, obviously, Pandora. Very, very luminous and glowy and all that kind of stuff. POV up on the channel if you've not seen it. Culminates at the end with this ridiculously complex animatronic. Probably one of the best I'd seen until recently when I saw Epic Universe. They have some stunning animatronics, but it is just phenomenal. It's another one, again, because of that large queue, it's probably going to be a one and done. You're not going to sit and do this multiple times, but it is fantastic for what it is, and it's another one that I'm going to keep. Again, they beat me to it, so this next attraction I was going to scrap, and they already are. And that is Dinosaur. And I say they're scrapping it, they are retheming it. Now, I think it's going to be an Indiana Jones attraction, so it'll still use the same ride vehicles and stuff, just reskinned and stuff. Listen, it's an interesting concept, right? So you've got this, you go into this sort of museum, if you will, and there's all the kind of dinosaur skeletons and stuff. And then you go in and then they've got this time traveling machine that can take you back and you can see the dinosaurs. Okay, sure. And then you go through all these kind of prehistoric scenes and stuff, and there's animatronics, not the best animatronics to be fair. Things supposed to jump out at you and stuff, and there's, when the photo's taken, it's supposed to be a jump scare bit. Apparently I don't jump, so there's that. Yeah, and then, you know, you come back to normality. It's a very rough ride, it's very sort of flinging you about and stuff. I am curious if they are maintaining the same ride vehicles and potentially ride layout, if it will be as bad when it's Indiana Jones. But yeah, as I say, I would have scrapped this. They've agreed. They are scrapping the dinosaur version of this, and they will be bringing us a new version in the future. If you've seen other videos that I've done around this, typically when a park has a train attraction, I'm a huge fan, because I'm like, hey, grab your lunch, then go on the train, chill out, go around the park, let your food settle, and then get back on with your day. They do have a train. It's the Wildlife Express train, but it's not what I thought. Not in any shape or form. So for starters, when you get on this train, you're not facing the direction of the train, you're facing sideways out the train, which I thought, okay, well that's good, because that means you're going to go past various scenes and see stuff. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. You see behind the scenes, you see lots of buildings and car parks and stuff like that. And all this attraction does is take you up to, is it there's a wildlife bit. So the expectation is you go on this train, you go up to this station, you get off the train, you go see some animals, you get back on and you come back. I mean, I stayed on it and just did a lap of it, and it wasn't what I was expecting at all. So yeah, a little bit annoying because, as I say, I like a train ride. Oh, excuse me, there you go. It's boring me, that's how bad it is. So yeah, I'm gonna scrap this one. Yeah, bye. Well, there's my summary of Animal Kingdom. As I said, it is not all about the rides in this park. There is, of course, all the animals, and I've not touched on any of those. If you look at it just from a rides point of view, yes, there's more I'd keep than I would scrap, but it's quite a close call. So, as always, I'd love to know your thoughts on this one, which rides you agree with and which ones you disagree with. If you've enjoyed this one, make sure you hit that like button and please consider subscribing. And if you do enjoy this stuff, here's a playlist full of more theme park reviews.